muy bien, entiendo. Esa carta que tú me envías a mí, la que me estás comentando ahorita, es diferente de la carta que está tratando de encontrar Janardhan Maharaj. En la carta que está tratando de encontrar Janardhan Maharaj, ahí se explica.
Es otra.
Sí, exacto, es otra. Es otra. Y ahí explica Srila Acharya Maharaj, según lo que escuchamos de Srila Janardhan Maharaj, que en esa carta Srila Acharya Maharaj está diciendo que un acharya autorizado por Srila Govinda Maharaj puede dar su permiso para que un hermano espiritual o para que otra persona pueda comenzar a iniciar. Entonces,
eso sí lo comprendo.
Claro, hay que, ¿verdad? Srila Janardhan Maharaj quería encontrar esa carta y es la que quería mostrarnos. Es diferente de la carta que tú me comentas o que me enviaste. Son dos cartas, ¿verdad? Son dos cartas, hay que nada más.
Otra cosa que yo quería comentar. Yo escuché que Goswami Maharaj tuvo un problema con Acharyadeva y después él pidió disculpas, ¿verdad?
Así es.
Son cosas, ¿no? En las relaciones humanas, en las relaciones familiares, siempre existen malos entendidos. Y lo importante es que cuando hay sinceridad y no hay un deseo de dañar a otro, todo eso se puede solventar, ¿verdad? Se puede armonizar. Claro. Y yo no lo hice con ninguna intención y así no lo haya hecho con ninguna intención, ya públicamente soy un ofensor y yo lo acepto, yo doy mi cara, yo desde niño siempre he asumido mi responsabilidad. Y si incluso tenemos desacreditados ya seguir nuestro servicio aquí, nos los pueden comentar y dolorosamente lo cerraremos, pero
no creo.
Estamos muy entusiasmados de continuar con nuestro servicio. Nos dejó.
No creo.
Si la
no creo.
Y lo que haya que
ajustar,
Arjun, por favor, escucha a Maharaj. Escucha a Maharaj.
Arjun, sí. No creo que la resolución final de esta discusión haya quedado eso, en que tú eres una persona no grata, no. Lo que has dicho tú, Janardhan Maharaj lo dijo, no sé si lo entendí, se lo estaba explicando en inglés. Dijo que lo que Arjuna dijo está muy bien dicho, no hay nada equivocado en lo que él dijo. Sobre todo en la última parte que tú mencionaste. Todos entendemos que esa es la actitud de un Vaishnava, Arjuna. Entonces no pienses, ¿verdad?, que ahora se ha dicho esto, ¿no?, que tú no eres una persona no grata, no. Eres una persona que esperamos, ¿verdad?, sigas ejecutando tu servicio así como lo has seguido haciendo. Y Srila Janardhan Maharaj comentó que lo que dijiste está muy bien dicho.
Well, I was listening in the other room. I was looking for the letter that Acharya Maharaj sent. I don't trying to think who sent me this letter, and I also sent a copy to you, Ashram Maharaj, and it was a letter by Acharya Maharaj.
You send it through email? You send it through email? Can you remember around the date?
Maybe 2 months ago, I don't know. 1 or 2 months ago, I don't know. My memory is bad.
Before or after the departure of Srila Acharya Maharaj?
I believe before the departure. But one thing that was saying, I think Hridai Krishna was commenting, and we can say this in Spanish also, but Hridai Krishna was saying that Acharya Maharaj, when he heard that Madhusudana Maharaj had given initiation, that Acharya Maharaj said that Madhusudana Maharaj had very much wealth that he received from Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj, and now he's giving that wealth to others. So I don't see that Acharya Maharaj condemned or said something again. He may say that these 4 persons, but also we already know that Maharaj renounced his position on the Acharya board. He's already Acharya. He was made an Acharya by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And he was giving initiation, and he was also on the Acharya board when myself, Ashram Maharaj, Trivikram Maharaj, and also Avadut Maharaj and Goswami Maharaj. They were all we were 5 persons. I know Acharya Maharaj said 4, but we were 5 persons giving initiation. And of the Acharya board, Madhusudana Maharaj was the secretary. He was not not a member, but he was the secretary of the Acharya board. So, I mean, I don't really see where it's not. Maybe Acharya Maharaj said these 4 persons are authorized to give initiation, but Acharya Maharaj also on other occasions he knows that Goswami Maharaj is giving initiation, and he accepted that, and also according to Hridaya Krishna, he knew that Madhusudan Maharaj had given initiation, and he did not condemn that. So anyway, whatever is said by Acharya Maharaj in the letter or in his commentary, I still think that Arjun, you should be careful, because it's not proper to criticize Madhusudan Maharaj. I think he's an exalted Vaishnava, and whatever you may say according to the letter of Acharya Maharaj, it's not correct to criticize him. That was my point. And people were saying very nasty things, because I saw some of I didn't see the commentary of Arjuna because I wasn't sent that. I only saw the commentary, one thing of what's his name? Jai Shankar. I saw what he wrote, and it was very offensive. Now I don't know everything else that was said, because who sent me this? There was like 100 replies to this. But I don't think it's proper to criticize Vaishnava. And I think Madhusudan Maharaj is a gentleman, and he is not trying to cause any offense to anyone. And if somebody wants to take initiation from him, I think he has that right. According to this letter I'm talking about, maybe next week I will show the letter. I cannot find it because it's on my other computer. And I don't know if I send it to Ashram Maharaj by email, by WhatsApp, or I don't know how I sent it. But I find that letter, and I will show what Acharya Maharaj said about how a Acharya or can also name somebody else to be, and he's not talking just about himself. He's talking about those who are also Acharyas, and who asked Madhusudan Maharaj to help and initiate was originally Avadut Maharaj. Anyway, I don't want to continue. I don't think that's the actual point. Whether Acharya Maharaj mentioned his name or didn't mention his name, I think the point is to avoid making any offense to Vaishnava.
Janardhan Maharaj.
Even if you say, well, Madhusudan Maharaj this or Madhusudan Maharaj that, you still have no right to make Vaishnava aparad by criticizing him. And what was being said in those posts that were started by Jaya Shankar, they were not nice things. They were very nasty things. They were not just saying, oh, he shouldn't do this or he shouldn't do that. No, they were aparads, because I'm not going to repeat them, but I have one of the things that was said. It was very nasty.
Janardhan Maharaj. Maharaj.
Yeah.
Quería hablar algo corto nomás, como para aclarar un poquito la situación de Arjun Prabhu. Arjun Prabhu dice, ¿cómo es eso? Dice que en unos casos es autorizado y en otros no. Que Govinda Maharaj autorizó unos acharyas, que eres tú, Trivikram Maharaj, Janardhan Asram Maharaj, Avadut Maharaj. Pero entonces dice, y que como que Madhusudan Maharaj no lo es. Pues ellos quizás no, Madhusudan Maharaj quizás no fue apuntado por Govinda Maharaj, pero él es apuntado por Avaduta Maharaj. Y Avaduta Maharaj es un acharya apuntado por Srila Govinda Maharaj. Entonces, es autorizado, no es autodeclarado.
Anda, Panampuri Maharaj, perdón Maharaj, ¿puedes hablar en inglés?
Bueno, Sadhu, estoy diciendo que...
Permiso. O sea, me acabo de enterar, Avadut Maharaj. Ahora mi pregunta es, si he escuchado que, claro, él es un devoto, él es un acharya autorizado, pero yo he escuchado de que él no ha colocado la foto de Acharyadeva en los altares que le corresponden. Cuando todos sabemos que aunque sean acharyas, el sucesor es Acharyadeva. Y eso son cosas que a nosotros siempre nos va a disgustar. Así
nosotros debemos evitar las narices en la relación de nuestro Guru Varga. En alguna ocasión, Srila Prabhupada hablaba de sus hermanos espirituales, y cuando los discípulos de Prabhupada escucharon eso, también empezaron a hablar de este Maharaj, del otro Maharaj. Prabhupada, cuando se enteró, Prabhupada gustó mucho. Srila Prabhupada dijo, yo los puedo criticar, pero si ustedes lo hacen, ustedes se van a caer. El Guru Varga es igual que el Guru. Ellos pueden tener sus problemas y ellos lo van a resolver. Pero yo como discípulo no puedo meter mis narices en la relación de ellos. ¿Por qué él hace? ¿Por qué no hace? Ellos tendrán que rendir sus cuentas por eso, no yo. No, nadie me ha nombrado de inspector.
Tú dices que hay personas que no tienen la foto de Acharya Maharaj en el altar. Pero algunas de esas personas son personas que tú mencionaste que son nombrados por Acharya Maharaj como ellos son acharyas, pero entonces puede decir que bueno, siendo yo un discípulo de Acharya Maharaj, a mí no me gusta ver eso. Ok, está bien, pero tampoco creo que eso le da a uno el derecho de criticar a otros. Puede ser que a mi manera de ver, ese no es correcto. Tú puedes pensar eso, pero eso no te da el derecho de comenzar a criticar a personas. Por ejemplo, entre las personas que tú mencionas que fueron autorizados por Acharya Maharaj, pues que de criticarles, personalmente, tú puedes decir, bueno, ellos no, a mí, yo no los veo como están cumpliendo con eso o otro. Tú puedes pensar eso, pero de expresar públicamente críticas de ellos, yo creo uno está entrando en lugares en que no se debe entrar. ¿No?
Maharaj, Dandavat, perdón, una vez más, Maharaj, discúlpeme. Maharaj, ¿puedo hablar en inglés?
All right.
Por favor.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that the instruction of Srila Govinda Maharaj is that the picture of Acharya Maharaj should be on the altar. And Arjuna was saying, I'm seeing that not everyone has a picture of Acharya Maharaj on their altar, and I don't like to see that. Okay, I can understand that he's saying that, but I still don't feel that gives him the right to criticize somebody who even among persons he said that are chosen, that they can give initiation. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, I can only correct myself. I cannot correct everybody else. If somebody can say, well, I saw in this temple, they did not have the picture of Acharya Maharaj on them. Okay. Then you may not like to see that and may think, well, why that person not doing this? But I don't really feel that changes anything. I don't feel that gives anyone the right to start making some offenses against Madhusudan Maharaj or those persons who don't have Acharya Maharaj's picture on the altar. I mean, I don't really understand how that's going to help me. I may see that and I might say, oh, I don't like this. Okay. But there are many things I'm seeing in this world that I may not be in agreement with. But I don't think it gives me the right, as Srila Guru Maharaj called drain inspector. I don't have the right to inspect drains. I'm supposed to be looking for something positive. I'm not supposed to be looking for something negative.
Maharaj, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, once few devotees was chosen by Srila Sridhar Maharaj previously, and then by Srila Govinda Maharaj before his departure, he named some acharyas. So technically, is it right or wrong not to have Srila Acharya Maharaj in their temples? Like I have the temple here, Avaduta Maharaj has temple, Ashar Maharaj has many temples. So technically, is that wrong or right not to have Srila Acharya Maharaj as in the disciplic succession, you know, after Srila Govinda Maharaj? This question is very important for me. It's just a technical question. Is that right or wrong? Because for Giri Maharaj, and that was one of the cases of Giri Maharaj being one of our acharyas, named by Srila Govinda Maharaj, that, you know, as soon as you are named as acharya, you are supposed to be in the Guru Parampara. You are the acharya. So my question is that technically wrong or right?
Well, I have, for instance, in my temple, I have Acharya Maharaj on the disciplic succession. So that's what I have. Now, I don't know what everybody else is doing in every other part of the world, and I'm not commenting on that. But somebody could, what I feel is that somebody can say, well, I was named as Acharya, but okay, but we just heard the comment that said that Acharya Maharaj's picture should be on the altar. So anyway, I have Acharya Maharaj's picture on the altar. I think Ashram Maharaj has Acharya Maharaj's picture on the altar. What somebody else is doing, I'm not going and looking at their altar and saying, oh, this is right or this is wrong. This was my understanding. And then from the very beginning, we chose to have Acharya Maharaj's picture on the altar. Now, what everybody else is doing, I don't know. And I don't really care so much. It's not my business.
No, the point what I'm trying to make here is like, if someone feels, okay, technically this is not wrong, then so many of the devotees in the mission who think it's wrong, then they will harmonize. So harmony is necessary.
But I feel that there's a difference in that Acharya Maharaj, he's said to be the successor of Srila Govinda Maharaj. He's named as a successor. And this refers to the central Matth of the three Chaitanya Saraswat Matth. And Govinda Maharaj named him his successor. So for me, this has some importance. Someone else can be Acharya, like Acharya can be here, like you mentioned Giri Maharaj, etc. But then they may say, oh, I'm the Acharya. I don't need to put the picture of Acharya Maharaj on the altar. Well, all right, I'm not going to get into a fight with you, but I don't think your position as Acharya is the same as being the successor of Srila Govinda Maharaj. I mean, Govinda Maharaj said Acharya Maharaj is his successor. Then okay, if somebody says, I'm the Acharya, okay, like then your picture will be on the altar. Okay, your picture can be on the altar, but Acharya Maharaj is the successor of Srila Govinda Maharaj. So I thought, why? Anyway, I don't want to get into this whole thing, because then somebody could say, well, this person doesn't have a picture on the altar. This person does. Okay, I admit I understand something different from me, but it was my understanding. But I don't want to get into a thing of criticizing my god brother. Somebody has his picture on the altar, somebody doesn't have his picture on the altar.
No, I'm not coming to criticism. It's just a technical point, because Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Matth has to be one standard or many standards. Then everything is acceptable. But if you establish one standard, then others who are not in that standard, they are not Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Matth. So my point is, which standard is appropriate? Any standard, if I think that's okay, I have my own picture, oh, okay, that's the standard. If I think, oh, this is Acharya Maharaj's pictures, okay, that's the standard. So which standard is Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Matth or not? Because juniors, newcomers are coming. I've been criticized by many of Acharya Maharaj's disciples, and I have his pictures in my altar. I don't have my own picture, but I've been criticized because I give initiation. I know I'm a fallen soul. I'm just trying to do some service. I'm not putting myself as a big person. I know who I am better than many of you. But my my point is just technically, because then if technically we can establish something that is, okay, this is acceptable standard, then there is no more question. You were now establishing Madhusudana Maharaj as an acceptable standard, because you said someone named him as Acharya, and then Hridaya Krishna came with another instance that shows he is a capable person to give his treasure. So standards, technical points are important. Otherwise, anyone can take any standard, wrong or right, and then a mess will come to our mission, as it's already happening.
Well, Madhusudana Maharaj is my friend, but I don't have his picture on my altar. Right now, I have 8 pictures on my altar. And I didn't want to put my own picture on the altar, but the devotees forced me to put my picture on the altar. But I have mine, then next to me is Acharya Maharaj, then next to Acharya Maharaj is Govinda Maharaj, then next to Govinda Maharaj is Srila Sridhar Maharaj.
So it's still, I think, with my humble opinion, you were dodging my question. We need a standard for the whole Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Math, otherwise it's going to be breaking in pieces. And that's why Arjuna has some doubt, and other people has doubt. So many doubts, because no one standard for Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Math. We need to come together as a brain, as a body, whoever is chosen to be in the body, senior devotees, and establish one standard for Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Math. Otherwise, it's whatever I want.
Well, I told you what I consider to be the standard, and what I have on my altar, I considered I'm following this standard. What other people put on their altar, I am not the Acharya police. I don't have the Acharya police department, and I don't go to other temples and break down the doors and tell them what they should do. But I told you what I considered to be the standard. The standard I considered was that Acharya Maharaj was the successor, and I put his picture on the altar. Finish. End of story. Why it's so hard to understand? No. You asked me.
It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard. I'm not so stupid not to understand what you're saying. But there are many other people doing their own way. And are them Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Math or not?
Maharaj, one thing. Can you hear me?
Can do, but I don't.
One thing. Can you hear me?
Enforce what you say.
Yes, I can hear you, Maharaj. I can hear you.
All right. Maharaj, I think what you are presenting is okay, and Maharaj also what he's presenting is okay. That means we need to get together, isn't it? Because it's not only the answer which has to come from Janardhan Maharaj. If that has been to establish all around, has been naturally to be dealt in some meeting with all of our God brothers, means Acharya board or something. Then if everyone comes to this point to understand and to make a whole society standard, then we will do. But at present, we have not been like that. Then if you are asking Janardhan Maharaj to answer you this, naturally he will not know. He's saying, that's what I am doing. I don't know, I'm not the police, I'm not the person who is...
Yes, but my point here is like we need to bring a brain together to establish some standard. Yes, and in the last meeting, we couldn't. So we need to try again and again and again. Otherwise, Sri Chaitanya Sarasvat Math is going to be broken in pieces.
Okay. That's good. We need to get together.
Podemos intentar en el futuro, pero que decimos que antes de tener la reunión que nadie puede traer pistolas ni nada.
Okay, I'll bring my dagger.
¿Me permiten?
Yeah.
De permiso. No.
One thing before you start, Arjuna, I just make the point that whatever is said or done, not to blaspheme, not to criticize the Vaishnavas. If we can avoid doing that, you can make any argument, but not to engage in some thread in something where Madhusudana Maharaj or any other Vaishnava is going to be criticized. You may say, well, according to my understanding, according to this understanding, okay, Maybe according to your understanding, this is not good, but I don't think it's proper to have a thing where everybody is going to be criticizing and saying nasty things about Madhusudana Maharaj. That was all my point, and that's why I was angry. But now, okay, Arjuna, go ahead and speak.
Maharaj Dandavat, can I interrupt and say something? I ask you a question. Also a technical question about the Guru Parampara. We are taught in our books that that the Guru Parampara line is like a rope in the well. Like the Jiva soul is drowning in the well, and Krishna extends his rope down to the Jiva soul so that he can catch all of the rope and save himself. So we simply put that Guru Parampara is a very important position, and the Guru there is able to deliver the fallen soul, the Jiva soul, to the spiritual planet. So it is a very serious position. So that is where the Guru is appointing one Guru to another Guru. This is what I'm reading, and please help me and educate me, Maharaj, on this understanding of mine. So I'm want to be educated by the Vaishnavas. Here the question is, so in some altars in the world, we have seen up to now, the Guru Parampara stops at Swami Sridhar Maharaj. There is no Govinda Maharaj in the altar. I think many of them are still operating in such a way. So the question is, what is the situation? There's no Govinda Maharaj. So there's no extension of the rope. Okay, so that's one question. The second question will be, and in some altars in the world, there is no Acharya Maharaj picture. Okay, then where is the extension of the rope or the mercy that's extending to the Jiva soul? Now, the last question will be, where is the extension of the rope of mercy after Acharya Maharaj? If we don't have this idea or this conception of the mercy flowing down to save the Jiva soul, then how are we going to preach? That who is going to help you? Your Guru, your Acharya is going to help you to save the Jiva soul. That is why you take initiation. It is a very important connection to the Supreme Lord. So, if some people have stopped at Sridhar Maharaj, what is their situation? Some people have stopped at Govinda Maharaj. What is their situation? Some people has no Acharya Maharaj now. What is their situation? And some people now will not have Bhakti Tilak Niriya Maharaj in the altar. What will be the situation of this group of people that are actually operating on this basis? So that is my concern, because we are preaching based on the Guru Parampara, where we put a lot of faith in our Guru, that he who gives you initiation is able to help the Jiva soul. When you die, he will be there for you to help your soul to connect with the Lord. And let's put our sincerity and service to the lotus feet of the Guru. So how are we going to preach this point when we have different people sitting in different altars? An example, that's my question, Maharaj.
Well, Ravindra Krishna, you give the example of a rope, but this is like a you're putting it as a physical thing. And Srila Guru Maharaj, he explains that the idea of our Guru Parampara is a Siksha Guru Parampara. It's not a physical Guru Parampara. In the disciplic succession that we see, that goes back, from the time of Brahma to the time of, going through the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya line with Mahaprabhu, everything. There are times when there is no Guru present there, no physical Guru for maybe 400 or 500 years. And Guru Maharaj explains there were gurus, but what is shown in our line is the prominent gurus, etc. So there are people who are preaching the Siksha conception of Srila Guru Maharaj. You say, well, after after, for instance, Acharya Maharaj? How is that rope, or how's that line continuing? What about Ashram Maharaj? He's giving instruction. What about other persons who are preaching the conception of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj? That has no importance. It has to be a physical Guru Parampara line that in this way. And if you mention Niriha Maharaj, okay, with all respect to Niriha Maharaj, I know that Acharya Maharaj wanted to prepare him as a successor. But the actual consideration, as far as I'm concerned, is that Acharya Maharaj did not name him as the successor at the time when he left this world. But he indicated that he wanted him to be his successor. So I don't necessarily see right now, myself, that Niriha Maharaj's picture has to be on every altar of the world. That is not my consideration. You said, well, I'm putting that picture on my altar. Well, all right, you can do. But I still feel that Niriha Maharaj needs some help from the senior devotees in order to continue his development. So I do not consider just that your example of the Guru Parampara as a rope. It is a line of siksha. It is this, and the siksha is going on. But anyway, I think Arjuna, he has his hand up there. He wanted to say something.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Arjuna, ¿qué quieres decir? Or, no sé.
Muchas gracias por permitirme volver a hablar. Ahorita, ¿sabes? Me descendió como una idea de que Acharya Maharaj, ¿verdad? De las clases de sala de reunión. Y si la Acharya Maharaj abandonó este mundo repentinamente y dejó todas las pruebas de quién es su sucesor, y todos ustedes lo aclaran, ¿por qué Niriha Maharaj no empieza a dirigir las clases a partir del próximo domingo? Yo creo que Niriha Maharaj merece ya su puesto, porque él está ahí y la vida se pierde en un segundo. Incluso en la clase que hoy compartió Mojita Krishnadas, donde se llama No se dejen engañar, Gurudeva dijo, no esperen tanto para la iniciación, porque no sabes en qué momento mueres y quiénes se van a hacer responsables de que te impidieron recibir iniciación. Y la iniciación en sí es el inicio, o sea, no es que porque iniciara alguien ya está liberado, ¿no? Pero esa misericordia para todo aquel que lo anhele debe pedirlo. Y yo creo que si esta sala de reunión es la sala de la Acharya Maharaj y él dejó a su sucesor, yo creo que ya debería empezar a dirigir las clases de esta Niriha Maharaj. Eso era mi humilde opinión. Y
cómo va a dirigir primero, cómo va a dirigir si ni tiene una conexión de internet la mayoría de las veces? Pero eso es okay, eso es un problema físico que se puede solucionar. Pero I also said that I think that Niriha Maharaj, every time he's been here, he gives you know, his dandavats to the senior Vaishnavas, and he asks them to continue. So if he wants to speak, all right, then fine, he can speak, no problem, and he can, if he wants to address the Vaishnavas, that's fine. But we were asked to continue with as the senior devotees in the mission to continue with the program for Acharya Maharaj. I really don't believe that Niriha Maharaj wants to start directing this Sunday thing, but you know, so I don't feel that question like really makes complete sense. Anyway, that's my
Dandavad. Maharaj, por favor, permítame una observación. Arjun Prabhu, usted debería tener muchísimo más cuidado cuando se dirija hacia los devotos expresando su opinión, y antes de expresarla debería consultarle a los devotos mayores. Estás hablando y justificando, deberías empezar por pedirle perdón. Primero, así Madhusudan Maharaj, una persona de muchísimo tiempo de servicio en este proceso, tú empiezas a expresar cosas sin tener una experiencia de lo que estás hablando. Antes de expresar esas cosas, consulta de los devotos. Habla primero con los devotos mayores, luego tú puedes quizás tener una idea un poquito más certera o más clara acerca de las cosas. Pero empiezas a expresar cosas y sigues expresando y sigues expresando. Empieza pidiéndole perdón a los devotos de una manera humilde y trata de aprender de los devotos mayores. No empieces a expresar las cosas que tienes en tu mente porque eres una persona que no tienes la madurez para expresar ese tipo de cosas. Tienes que aprender de los devotos primero antes de empezar a hablar. Tienes que aprender a hablar. Entonces trata de ser un poquito más cuidadoso con eso porque se te está hablando, entonces sigues como insistiendo en poner la idea de justificar lo que estás haciendo. Baja la cabeza y trata de pedirle perdón a los los cuales no piense que si has cometido, si has cometido no piensa. Entonces rectifica y pide perdón. No pienses de esa manera. No, si he cometido, si la cometiste, entonces hazlo. Y hazlo públicamente, pídele perdón a Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, que es un devoto mayor, una persona que tiene muchísimos años de guía en esta línea de servicio a su Gurudeva. Tienes que tener mucho cuidado con eso. Sí,
y usted, aprovechando esta oportunidad, usted también me podría explicar ya con su gran experiencia, porque lo desconozco, no sé quién es usted, y mis reverencias y mi dandadas pranam para usted y para todos, ¿verdad? Yo soy una neófita totalmente, soy un alma que realmente Acharya me salvó hace como 2 años aproximadamente. Creo que ni siquiera llego a los 2 años. Y pues mi unión ha sido totalmente corazón a corazón con mi Gurudev, con Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj. Y tomo aprovechando la oportunidad, porque como neófita, ¿verdad? Que soy, pues le quiero aclarar muchas cosas, ¿verdad? Que capaz por nuestra...
Pero deje que lo responda. Usted le preguntó quién es él. Deje que lo responda. Después sigue. Pero sigue hablando el monólogo. Deje que responda. Bhagavan Prabhu, respóndelo. ¿Quién eres?
Andavadidi. Bueno, soy un alma, soy un alma caída que está en una situación, pero siempre me refugio en mis hermanos mayores, en los devotos mayores, para tratar de tener una idea clara acerca de cualquier situación espiritual. Pero realmente, sí, tratamos de ser orientados por nuestros acharyas mayores. Esa es la idea. La idea que le estoy tratando de presentar al Arjuna Prabhu es esa, de que se deje orientar por los devotos mayores. Aquí tenemos así la Bañada Maharaj, así la Puri Maharaj, hay muchos devotos mayores que pueden instruirnos y ayudarnos a hacer las cosas de mejor manera. Se trata de eso, y no hacer las cosas apresurado, sino de hacer las cosas de una manera instruido, siguiendo la guía de nuestros devotos mayores, las personas que nos están guiando realmente de una manera sincera y honesta.
Bueno,
no, aparte,
sí, que realmente no puedo hablar.
Tengo algo importante que decirle.
Hey, yo voy a escuchar.
Hey,
perdóname.
Hey, Didi Vishaka, Didi Vishaka, por favor, antes de que esto se vuelva...
Por favor. He escuchado bastante de parte de Arjuna cómo debemos organizar las cosas, cómo debemos hacer todo. Y estoy cansado de escuchar todo eso. Si tú quieres responder a alguien, y tu marido y todo, lo puede en privado, pero estamos como una reunión aquí de muchos devotos y estamos un poquito cansados de todo eso. Yo traté de un punto original que han cometido ofensas a Madhusudan Maharaj. Basta de eso. Yo no quiero escuchar más y más de las y estamos realmente siguiendo de corazón a eso no te da a nadie el derecho de meter ofensas. Fin. End of story. We're finished. We're finished with this comment about Madhusudan Maharaj, etc. I think that Madhu Krishna Prabhu, he has expressed you know, very nicely, what is the position? And he said it in Spanish. So I think you can understand. And we don't want to hear anymore. I said there was an offense committed. You can just beg forgiveness from Madhusudana Maharaj and we can continue. And end of it. We have other things to discuss. This is about Acharya Maharaj. It's not about, you know, like, well, we're doing this and we're doing that. And no, there was some mistake made and it should be corrected. Okay. Anyone else have a question?
I say something very quickly, that here in London we have many devotees that come to London to serve from disciple of all the different acharyas. Acharya Maharaj disciples, your disciples, Srila Ashram Maharaj disciples, Srila Trivika Maharaj disciples, Srila Madhusudana Maharaj disciples, and everyone is serving nicely and in harmony. And everyone is respecting each other, Guru, and everyone is honoring everyone. And when there is a Vyasa Puja, everyone participates, and that encourage that kind of mood to honor and respect and give all the glories to all of the devotees who are trying to preach for the mission of Srila Guru Maharaj and our Guru Parampara. So that's what I wanted to say, that we've seen that and it's working very nicely. That's all I want to say.
Anyway, someone else have some nicer point to bring up, like besides all this, like who is the authorized guru and who is this and whose picture should be on. I agree we should have some standard, but I don't believe in this idea that we're going to, the Chaitanya Saraswat Math is going to act like police department. I just said, someone said, well, you brought it up. Yeah, I brought it up because I consider there were offenses being committed to Vaishnavas. And I don't care if they say, well, I did it in the name of Acharya Maharaj. Well, that doesn't make it correct. You may understand or misunderstand the situation, but some offense is being committed. Please correct that offense. Ed. All right.
Shila Janardhan Maharaj, yo podría hacerle una petición en orden de que estos días partió nuestro querido Koladvi Prabhu. Si de pronto Maharaj pudiera hablar algo en su honor de Koladvi Prabhu, quien partió estos días acá en Colombia.
I will say in English, okay? I went with Srila Govinda Maharaj to Caracas on
Can you
many.
repeat that, Maharaj? Can you repeat the question in English? So that
We wanted that we will say so that Koladvi Prabhu left this world just a few days ago, and he wanted to know if we can say some words in glorification of Koladvi Prabhu, right? And I said, all right, I will say in English, you can also say in Spanish, Maharaj, but I am many times going with Srila Govinda Maharaj to Venezuela. And I know on occasion when Srila Govinda Maharaj went there, I mentioned this the other day in glorification of Koladvi, that I went with Srila Govinda Maharaj to Caracas, and on one occasion, we had a program with all the devotees, and this program lasted more than 3 hours. And Srila Govinda Maharaj did not say a word because he was so happy with the kirtan. He said, Govinda Maharaj, the devotees were chanting, Govinda Maharaj was chanting. He did not have any public speaking that day. He was so happy with the kirtan. He was very happy. And of course, my memory is that Koladvi was the kirtan leader at that time. He was playing the mridanga and other devotees were singing. but Koladvip was like a leader, you know, of the kirtan. There were other persons who were also very expert in doing kirtan. And Govinda Maharaj was so much happy. And I said, oh, you're going to speak something Srila Govinda Maharaj. He said, I am happy just doing kirtan. And we did kirtan for many hours. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj said, Venezuela, they are very expert in doing kirtan, and he was very happy with that. And he also said, and in Mexico, they are very expert in dancing. So he said, he talked like that, and he was glorifying the devotees. And that. I remember so many times going to Venezuela and being so happy with the devotees. They're singing so many beautiful kirtans and ecstatic things, and I always remember Koladvip as one of the most, you know, as one of the leading devotees of the kirtan. So I will always remember him in that way, as I'm always being very happy to see Koladvip, and he will be leading the kirtans for the devotees. Now maybe Ashram Maharshi could also speak about Koladvip. But
well, especially the devotees in Venezuela, they must be very, very happy and very feeling like very grateful, no, to Koladvip, because really he, as Maharaj is explaining, he led the kirtan there in Venezuela for a long time, and he came also. Sometimes we saw him at Navadvip leading the kirtan there, and especially as Maharaj mentioned, Srila Govinda Maharaj was very happy for the kirtan in Venezuela, so much that sometimes he declared that this chanting, this kirtan of the Venezuelan devotees, it is better still. I think it is better than the one we hear in Navadvip. So that was the remark he did. And naturally, whenever we think about Koladvip, besides that his name, I don't know, his name was given like that since ISKCON times, Koladvip.
Don't know.
Does anybody knows? But anyhow, he had that name, no, where the temple, where the mat is.
He was a Srila Sridhar Maharaj disciple. That name he received from.
He received it from Srila Sridhar Maharaj.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that was a beautiful name, and we relate that name to the mat because the mat is in that island, no, in Koladvip. It is said in that beautiful sloka presented by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Sri Chaitanya Matavara Udita Kirtir Jayasrim. In the banks of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat mat stands, no, in the banks of the river in Koladvip, in Sri Navadvip Dam. But Koladvip had also, when Srila Govinda Maharaj heard the kirtans in Venezuela and led mostly by him, he was very pleased. He was very pleased, and he really partake that quality Krishna gave him. He partake that with all of the devotees there in Venezuela, in Venezuela, and now lately, these years after this of the Venezuela country, he came and lived with devotees of Colombia, and had the opportunity to meet with him more, no, and to share about his association and to be in those kirtans. Many of the young devotees in Colombia, they went to Venezuela and learned from the devotees there how to play the mridanga, that particular type of mridanga which is exclusively from the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat mat. They learn very well. So when Koladvip came to Colombia, then the kirtan, they were very, very beautiful. And he always partake. He was not like a very, how do you say, una personalidad que se hacía destacar mucho, ¿verdad? His demeanor, his activities were very simple. But when he had the chance to, when the kirtan started and he could lead the kirtan, then immediately, like, he transformed himself. And that beautiful voice came in tune. And in tune, the Vaishnava songs. Srila Govinda Maharaj, I remember the last time when he came in the world, in his world tour around, and he visited Bangkok, and he visited Russia, and then he went to Italy, then crossed the sea and came to Venezuela, to Caracas. We all remember how Srila Govinda Maharaj, he chanted. His health was not very well. His health was delicate health. But he chanted so much being there in Venezuela, no? At least 7 or 8 songs straight he chanted. Before he stopped and he gave some words to the devotees. At that time, Janardhan Maharaj was there. Trivikram Maharaj, maybe he was also there. And Goswami Maharaj. At that time, Tapasvi Maharaj, Bhuvana Mohan Prabhu, at that time he was also there. And of course, all of the devotees. I don't know how many devotees. There were practically no room in the Kirtan hall, no, of Venezuela, of Paramakaruna, to be a place for all the devotees to stay and to participate in those beautiful singing. So lastly, these 2 days or 3 days back, the devotees sent me the videos and pictures that everyone got together just outside the hospital where he passed away, where he departed. And the devotees from Vitama, from Paipa, they got together, a very good number of them, and they start chanting, no? A big kirtan, chanting the holy name of the Lord, the names of the Panchatattva. And seeing that, we felt grateful, because such a person like Koladwip, who partake with everyone very generously, his talent as leading the kirtans, the devotees at the very end of his life, when he departed, he joined together and started this tumultuous kirtan and singing. So we felt very grateful to them that they did such a beautiful bid, we say, farewell to him. No? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also used to organize, no? As everyone knows, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, when at the time of the Ratha Yatra, about 7 parties they used to form, besides the cart, the Jagannatha's cart. And 4 of them, they were in the front, and the Lord personally will select it. The leading dancing personality for each one of them, and also the chanting, the leading personality who will chant, no, in those parties. And so whenever we think about Koladwip, we always think about his generous life. That this age of Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma, no, the activity, the religious activity indicated for this age of Kali Yuga is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And we were very, very happy to have the opportunity to see him many times, especially this last part of his life in Colombia, many times, leading the kirtans, leading this Yuga Dharma, and making the devotees really like go wild, no, while doing this Harinam. Harinam Sankirtan in the association of the devotees is one of the features which give us so much joy and pleasure to everyone. To see the devotees getting together and playing the drums and the kartals and chanting these beautiful songs. Sometimes in a very calm and solemn way, but sometimes going in a crescendo, with a much spirit and enthusiasm. Everyone jumping and dancing. And so in the streets, when we were in the streets with Koladvip, it was very difficult to be unnoticed. Everyone at the street will see the devotees chanting and going around and making this Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So I think the devotees of Venezuela, like all of you, devotees which are now in England or in Venezuela itself or in Colombia, they may like to say something, and they know better than ourselves to describe the good qualities and the life of service of Koladvip Prabhu. Dandavad. Dandavad.
Dandavad. I will excuse myself from this meeting. I have to do a program in the temple in here in SoCal now, 9:30. We're starting Sunday program. So my Dandavat pranams to all of you. And
Dandavat. Dandavat. Dandavat.
Dandavat Tripura Maharaj.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Maharaj. Dandavat Maharaj. Dandavat Tilak Maharaj. Dandavat.
Dandavat Maharaj. Ahra Maharaj.
Pranam Jagannath Maharaj. Lashra Maharaj. Guru Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam. Sila Tilakam Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam. Sila Puri Maharaj. Dandavat.
Tilak Maharaj. Oh, glory to you.
Dandavat Nidhi Maharaj. Pranam.
Maharaj. Dandavat Janardhan Maharaj.
Dandavat pranam para todos los demás.
Dandavat Janardhan Maharaj. Dandavat Nidhi Tilak Maharaj. Oh, glory to you, Lord, speak. Hare Krishna.
Jai Tilak Maharaj.
Jai.
Arjuna Vishaka, la armonía es lo más importante. No se tienen que dejar llevar, pero no se tienen que dejar. Déjame hablar, por favor.
Los otros están cansados. Si hay algún comentario, preferible hacerlo por el interno para poder terminar la reunión de una manera armoniosa. Muchas reverencias a todos.
Dandavat para todos.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Puri Maharaj. Dandavat Maharaj y devotos.
Dandavat. Dandavat for all devotees. Dandavat to all the devotees, all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Maharaj. Dandavat Gurudev.
Dandavat pranam para todos.
Dandavat pranams para todos los devotos. Disculpen nuestras ofensas. Dandavat pranams to all devotees. Please forgive all our offenses.
Todos los devotos. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Recording stop.